The retail landscape across America is undergoing a seismic shift, leaving a trail of closed stores and shattered dreams in its wake. Iconic retail giants are sounding the alarm, with Walmart citing billions in losses and Target closely echoing this grim reality. As we brace ourselves for a brewing economic storm, the shuttering of storefronts is becoming all too familiar, with predictions of even more closures on the horizon. The perfect storm of inflation, supply chain snarls, and cautious consumer spending is relentlessly eating away at the bottom line of businesses big and small. It's a tough time to be in retail, and the outlook is growing darker by the day. But what's behind this wave of retail decline? Competition with online shopping behemoths has left many brick-and-mortar stores fighting for relevance in a market that's rapidly moving online. Yet, many cling to the belief that their in-store experience holds a unique value for shoppers, a belief increasingly at odds with consumer behavior. By the time these retailers wake up to the harsh reality, it's often too late, leaving them with no choice but to close their doors forever. In this eye-opening video, we're taking a closer look at the dire straits faced by some of the most beloved retail brands in America. We'll explore why they're struggling to keep the lights on and the impact their potential disappearance could have on our shopping habits and the overall economic landscape. From household names to regional favorites, nobody is immune to the challenges of the current retail environment. Before we dive into our video of the 10 big retailers closing down right now, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell to get notified about our latest updates. It's time to uncover the real stories behind the store closures that are reshaping the face of American retail. Stay tuned to find out which retailers are on the brink of vanishing from our streets and malls. 10 Barnes & Noble, a giant toppling over. In an astonishing turn of events, Barnes & Noble, the once beloved bookstore giant that stood as a testament to literary culture across the United States, has hit a massive snag that landed it right into bankruptcy in March 2021. Even more shocking is the twist in the tale. The iconic retailer has been snagged up by the British investment heavyweight Elliott Advisors Limited. But here's the real kicker. The relentless surge of ebooks and the dominance of online bookselling behemoths have cast a long, ominous shadow over Barnes & Noble's future. Over just the past couple of years, this titan of the book-selling realm witnessed a staggering fifthly plummet in its revenue streams. And the hits just kept on coming. Late last year, the store announced the heart-rending decision to shutter 197 of its 600 stores sprinkled nationally. Barnes & Noble, once a sanctuary for book lovers, now finds itself hemorrhaging with a $10 million annual loss in sales, with consumer trends increasingly veering towards the digital and the technological era tightening its grip. We're looking at a situation where losses could swell to even more alarming proportions for Barnes & Noble, and hitting the number 9 spot, folks, is a shocker to many of us who have grown up with this brand. Yes, we're talking about Gap. Imagine walking through your favorite mall and not seeing the familiar blue and white logo. It's becoming a real possibility. According to financial guru Sister Apparel, Gap is on thin ice, and it's not looking good. Last year, their numbers were in the red. They didn't make a dime in profit. Now, you might think, okay, tough year for everyone. But here's the kicker. Gap's lifeline, their bread and butter, has always been their retail stores, with the world turning upside down thanks to COVID. Those in-store cash registers aren't ringing like before. In a startling revelation this April, Gap confessed to grappling with a jaw-dropping debt of $225 billion. That's billion with ABABA. The situation has gotten so dire that they've openly voiced concerns about running out of cash in less than a year, and in a move that speaks volumes to their desperation, they've stopped paying rent across all their stores. Imagine the ripple effect that's going to have. But wait, there's more. The fall of such a giant isn't just a loss for the brand. Think about the array of casual wear they've provided for generations. Gap's struggle is a loud wake-up call to the retail world and to us, the shoppers. 8. JCPenney's rocky road. Before we even heard whispers of a pandemic rattling across the globe, JCPenney was already facing an uphill battle. But then bam, the pandemic struck, bringing with it lockdowns and stay-at-home orders that shook the retail world to its core. For JCPenney, this wasn't just another hurdle. Some say it was the final straw, delivering a devastating blow to the already struggling giant. In an announcement that sent shockwaves through the retail industry in 2021, JCPenney revealed plans to shutter a whopping 242 stores. but hold onto your hats because the storm isn't over. With a turbulent merger on the horizon and only about 600 stores left to weather it, JCPenney faces a grim forecast. Especially when you consider their primary customers aren't exactly clicking their way through online shopping. Conversation on everyone's mind is to see Penny defy the odds and bounce back in 2024 and beyond. Number 7. The shocking fall of GNC. In a dramatic turn of events that left the health and wellness community stunned, vitamin and dietary supplement giant GNC declared Chapter 11 bankruptcy, signaling the closure of a whopping 1,400 stores. Diving deep into their official statements, it's clear GNC had been wrestling with financial burdens long before the world got hit by the health crisis. Yet it was this unforeseen pandemic that delivered the final knockout punch, derailing their refinancing efforts and turning their business scenario from challenging to downright catastrophic. What's fascinating here is the insight from industry experts who pinpointed the real game changer. The explosion of online shopping options introduced a tsunami of competitors offering similar or even better products at lower prices, rendering the once thriving GNC stores increasingly outdated. And here's the kicker, this might just be with GNC desperately trying to map out a new restructuring strategy. We could see even more stores joining the closing list. It's a stark reminder of how swiftly the retail landscape is evolving, leaving even giants like GNC struggling to keep. Imagine never having to step foot into an office supply store again because, well, you might not even have the option to in the near future. Jesse Harrison, the CEO of the Employee Justice Legal Team, throws a hard truth our way. When it comes to buying a stapler or reams of paper, the digital marketplace has us covered. Why bother driving to a store when a few clicks online gets the job done? This convenience, however, spells trouble for giants like Staples and Office Depot. Jesse isn't just making wild guesses here. He's backed by some pretty stark numbers. Since the close of 2019, Office Depot stocks have been on a downward slide that seems to only gain momentum. Just think about this, in a couple of years, we've seen almost 200 stores locking their doors for good. Rewind to 2015, and these chains boasted a portfolio of 2,600 stores. Fast forward to today and barely 1,100 remain operational across the US. It's more than just a trend. It's a retail apocalypse in slow motion for these once dominant office supply stores. The convenience of online shopping could very well mean that in the next few years, Staples and Office Depot might become relics of a bygone era, reserved only for our reminiscences. A retail and fall of Rue, soul of retail tragedy. Once a bustling teen retail giant, Rue has hit a roadblock that's more like a brick wall. In 2017, this vibrant name in teen fashion found itself entangled in a web of debt heavier than any of its newest collections. The top brass at Rue's admitted, albeit a bit too late, that their finger had slipped off the pulse of their most crucial critics. The consumers, their tastes had evolved, but Rue, not so much. With a heavy heart and lighter options, they marched into the Chapter 11 arena, hoping for a chance to fight another day. But the aftermath, far from pretty, over 420 stores shut down, turning bustling shopping aisles into echo chambers. This wasn't just a trim. It was a decimation of over a third of their physical presence. Here's the kicker. In the razor-thin margin world of retail, size doesn't just matter. It's everything. And with their scale down to a skeleton, Rue's is barely clinging to the retail vine for any astonishing decline of Sears. If you thought Sears was anywhere near its glory days, think again. This retail giant, a household name for decades, is barely hanging by a thread. Remember when Sears was the place to shop, with thousands of stores across the US alone? Fast forward to today, and you can count the remaining stores on your fingers, just 25 left. The plot thickened in October 2018 when Sears hit rock bottom, filing for bankruptcy. But did that stir a comeback? Far from it. Sales kept plummeting, marking a decade of decline. Critics say bankruptcy was just a pause button on Sears' inevitable march towards extinction. And at this rate, get ready to bid farewell to the last Sears store in the country by mid-2024. It's a dramatic fall from grace for a retailer that once seemed invincible. Grab your popcorn, folks, because this is the kind of retail drama that makes you question what's next for American shopping giants. Coming in at number 3, we have Belk, the beloved southeastern department store chain that's been a staple for many. But hold on to your shopping bags because Belk's story is a roller coaster ride that's far from over. In a dramatic twist in 2022, Belk found itself wrestling with bankruptcy, desperately trying to shake off a staggering $450 million in debt. Thanks to a daring rescue by a group of investors, Belk lived to sell another day. But don't start your celebratory shopping spree just yet. Moody's Analytics paint a rather gloomy picture for our retailer friend. With a credit rating that's seen better days and a 2023 earnings outlook that's anything but rosy, Belk teeters on the edge of another financial cliff. The root of the problem, a heavy reliance on its brick-and-mortar stores without a significant footprint in the e-commerce arena. In a world where online shopping reigns supreme, Belk struggled to keep up with the digital Joneses could spell disaster. Now, as we look ahead, 2024 doesn't seem to be offering a lifeline. With bigger, tech-savvy competitors out there, Belk's chances of turning the tide seem slim. Will Belk manage to redefine its strategy and bounce back, or will it become a cautionary tale in the retail saga? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure. The future of this southeastern gem is anything but the fashion giant's fall from grace. Once a beacon for teen fashionistas, Abercrombie & Fitch's tale is a stark reminder of the volatile nature of the retail industry. The allure of high-end brands has faded, and this clothing titan has faced its own set of unique struggles. In an unexpected twist, comments from its past TO, Michael Jeffries, sparked controversy and backlash, adding fuel to the fire. The brand's financial woes became public in 2008 when it first filed for bankruptcy. Fast forward to the present, and the situation appears grim. The once booming retailer has been forced to downsize, closing a staggering 137 stores in 2020 alone. All closures loom on the horizon, with plans to shut down up to 60 more stores across the US. Not everyone's convinced there's a way out for Abercrombie & Fitch. Financial experts like Deutsche Bank's Tiffany Kananga express deep skepticism, highlighting the brand's struggle to hold its ground in an increasingly competitive online market. Is this the final chapter for Abercrombie & Fitch? Stay tuned as we uncover what's next for this struggling giant. 1. Charlotte Russe on the brink. Guess who might be kissing the retail world goodbye, or at the very least, slipping into the shadows in 2023? You got it, Charlotte Russe. Paul Zay. Shelton Jr., Miss F., the brainiac founder and chief investment officer at Warwick Shaw's Advisors, weighs in on this fashion-forward retailer's rocky road ahead. Born in the bustling year of 1975, Charlotte Russe has been the go-to spot for trendy clothing, shoes, and accessories aimed at the teen crowd. They've made their mark in 45 states, setting up shop primarily in those giant shopping malls we all know. But here's the catch, those malls. They're not pulling in the crowds like they used to. It's a tough scene, and our expert, Paul, doesn't see the tides turning in Charlotte Russe's favor anytime soon. Even before whispers of a recession began to swirl, Charlotte Russe hit a major snag, filing for bankruptcy and announcing the closure of 100 stores along with plans to sell off its intellectual property. With the economy tossing us all a bit of a curveball, the future looks pretty grim for Charlotte Russe. In the shadows of what once were the temples of American consumerism, these retail giants, from the iconic Sears to the trendy Charlotte Russe, reflect the volatile nature and the intense competition within the retail industry. Their stories, ranging from desperate comebacks to inevitable declines, offer invaluable insights into adaptability, consumer behavior, and the relentless march towards digitalization. In an age where e-commerce giants continue to dominate, the future of brick-and-mortar retailers hangs in a delicate balance, challenging businesses to innovate or face extinction. What do you think is the biggest lesson that emerging retailers can learn from these cautionary tales? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this deep dive into the changing landscape of American retail interesting, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more insights and analyses. Your support helps us keep bringing you the stories that matter.